Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be going over armor and other personal protective equipment. The first thing that I would like to note is that your armor should integrate seamlessly into your first, second, and third line, even though in your third line you won't be wearing it together as often unless you're transporting your third line from something like your vehicle to your place of residence, wherever that may be. So it will be necessary for extremely short periods of time, but don't wear it together for an extended period of time. So to get right into it, your first pieces of personal protective equipment are something that we've already gone over, and that's going to be your hearing and eye protection. So even when I'm wearing a helmet, I like to have my same hearing protection. I don't like to mount my electronic hearing protection onto my helmet itself. I like to just take out the center pad and run my electronic hearing protection underneath my helmet. There are other options. Instead of just having glasses, you can of course have ballistic goggles, which I've just got routed onto my helmet and secured in place with a morale patch on the back. Or you can have earplugs instead of the electronic hearing protection, or you can wear them with for increased hearing protection. I like to just tie these in on the top of my helmet cover and then just tuck them in right behind my goggles. Moving on from your hearing and eye protection, what can stand in for eye protection when it's necessary is your gas mask. What I'm running is an SGE 400/3. It has the ability to switch where your canister is mounted, either on the sides or in the front. I like to run mine in the front so that I can kind of wedge my rifle stock in here and I can get a good sight picture. But you can move it off to one side if that bothers you too much and work with it as you need be. Now when you're working with gas mask, what you want to know is how to signal for gas. So let's say you detect gas in the area, you're going to start screaming out gas, gas, gas. You're going to want to make this signal with your hands going into your shoulders to let everyone around you know. And if you see someone making this hand and arm signal, you're going to echo the command. So you're also going to begin signaling and screaming out gas, gas, gas. At this time you also want to begin to apply your gas mask. So what I've done is I've pulled all the straps to the front of the gas mask so that it's ready to be put on. So as you can see, everything is clear from the front. All I need to do to begin my seal is to press it up against my face. At this point, the gas mask is sealed on my face. In order to check that, all you have to do is put your hand over the inlet of your canister and suck in, and if you don't feel anything and the gas mask starts pushing and squeezing up against your face, you know that you have a good seal. So seal's good. Keep the pressure on. Pull the straps over the back of your head and begin tightening them down one by one. So of course you're going to want to practice this so that you can get quick with it. At this time you want to make sure that you give good and hard, sharp breaths out through your mask to clear any residual contamination within your mask. So make sure your mask is clear, make sure that's sealed. The seal is good. So once you do have your gas mask on, the first thing that you're going to want to do is start identifying people who may not have access to a gas mask and start chauffeuring them out of the affected area. It's your responsibility at this time, just like on an airplane, you get your mask on before anyone else, because if you don't get yours on first, you can't help anyone else. So once you do have that, it's your job to evacuate the area. You can get anyone else around you, make sure that they're guided out of the affected area, because when you are affected by gas, you're not going to be able to see clearly, you're not going to be able to breathe clearly or think clearly. So people can become disoriented and not be able to escape it. So if you do have a gas mask on, it's your responsibility to look out for others that may not have it. So, for some gas masks, you're going to have to run like a drop leg holster in order to carry it with you if you're not wearing it on your face currently and you're carrying it in case something happens. What I like about this one is that it's got this chest strap that keeps it right where it's needed. So immediately I can come up into my face, straight to seal, and it's ready to go. So, moving back to my helmet, since we were only talking about hearing and eye protection before, what I've got here is a, oh gosh, what is it? What I've got is a Sardine gunfighter cut helmet. I don't have any of the rails on the side. I like to keep my helmet slick as much as possible. What I've got on the outside of it is Revision Viper Battleskin helmet cover, I believe. And of course, anything and everything that I have run on this, I like to put a 550 cord retention on there just to keep it in place. And what I've got back here is a Streamlight Sidewinder. It's got IR options, so if my night vision isn't quite bright enough or I need that extra IR illumination behind it, I can throw this on. This is also strobe, so I can signal to friendly forces that may have night vision capabilities as well. And it's also a white light and red light. So what I have here is I just got the hook and loop Velcro on the back, and I just put that on the back and it stays in place nicely. And just in case it gets knocked off, it's still going to be tethered to me. So moving on up there, you already saw that I have my earplugs tethered in as well, tucked behind my goggles. Then we move on up to my night vision. I've just got the old school PVS 7s. I believe these are Deltas or something, PVS 7 Deltas. I don't know what the extra letter at the end has as a designation or what it means. But this is just on the old school Rhino mount with the J-arm, I believe. You know, if you're running night vision, if you got the money to do it, it's great. If you are running night vision, of course you're going to need some way of passive aiming, and what that's going to entail is having an IR laser like this PEC 15 that I have on my AR 15. Because under night vision, it's going to be extremely hard for you to use any of your sights or to aim in general, especially with these old school PVS 7 Deltas. They're kind of big. You feel like a unicorn walking around because there's just this one big tube jutting out the end of your face, but they work for what I need them for. So moving on inside my helmet, what I've got is the Team Windy Epic Air pad system. I find that it's really comfortable. It keeps my head really cool when I do have the helmet on. And I've got the Team Windy Cam Fit retention system or suspension system. I find that it's extremely comfortable. Most of the time I don't even have to run my chin strap because it's just got this Cam Fit dial back here, and once you tighten that down, it really just locks it into your head just about right here, and it's not going anywhere, even with the extra weight of my night vision. being on the end of it. So while we're still discussing helmets, you do have the option to have a non-ballistic helmet. Let's say you just wanted to run nods or night vision and you didn't want the extra weight of a ballistic helmet. You could put the Rhino mount on the front of here and run them just the same. Or if you're in and out of vehicles all the time, but you may not need that ballistic protection and you just need that bump protection from giving yourself concussions, you can go ahead and get yourself a Gunfighter cut non-ballistic helmet from PT Bravo, I believe, is where this is from. Lead times kind of suck on them and their communication sucks, but if you go ahead and order them, you'll eventually get it. And these are pretty comfortable, I gotta say. Now moving on to other non-ballistic protection, you should invest in some decent quality elbow and knee pads. Typically I don't run all of them. I just run my dominant side knee so that I can take a knee and get down there and get rounds on target. But I don't run all of them. Typically it just slows me down, makes me hotter, and I'm not contacting the ground too much with my elbows or my other knee. So I just run my dominant knee and that works for me. Now, of course, moving on down, you can also put your gloves and your boots as personal protective equipment, especially depending on what it is. Your gloves should be weather dependent, so I've got some other winter gloves in there, but I'll never use them because of where I live in the tropics. But have your gloves on you. I just run some regular mechanics gloves off my key ring down here. And of course I run combat boots and I'm running Under Armour valve sets. So invest in some good boots and some good gloves, and those are going to be an extra step in your personal protective equipment. Alright, so moving on to the reason that you're probably here, and that's the plate carrier. I like to run my backpack, like I've said before, something that's not attached to my plate carrier, so that if I need to get something out of my bag, like something administrative related, I don't have to sit there and rely on someone else or take off my armor in a place where that may not be appropriate. So of course, when we are talking about armor, I like to keep my sides slick so that I still have access to everything. Just like when you're running your chest rig, you want your sides nice and slick so that you can reach everything that you're reaching for, all your magazines, your weapons, everything else. So I don't run side plates. I think side plates are kind of going out the door at this point. Not a lot of people run them, and I don't blame them. It's just extra weight and less maneuverability. Right now I can stay cool, I have great mobility, and I still have protection where I most desperately need it on the front. So nothing interferes on my belt line with my plate carrier. And of course, this is the same placard that comes off of my chest rig, and it's just attached right here with these swift clips in the front. I can peel this off. And of course I have my dump pouch right underneath it, just like it was on my chest rig. What I like to do is, since I'm running wings, I like to have my CW Velocity Systems cummerbund right over the wings, just like when I had my chest rig, I had that compression strap around it to keep my wings nice and tucked in. So this goes underneath the magazine placard and over the wings to keep them tucked in. Now when you're choosing a plate carrier, it's nice to have the option to go completely slick, like I just did right now. Just as with any of your personal protective equipment, it should be scalable depending on your needs. You don't want to have a plate carrier that only serves one mission and that's to hold absolutely everything. You can't take anything off and it weighs a million pounds. It's a lot nicer to have the option to throw a plate carrier on. As you can see, it's just with my first line. Maybe I don't feel like I need the extra rounds on me, so I don't have the placard or anything else like that. Maybe I'm doing some work, but maybe the chance of catching a stray round is pretty high, so you leave this on while you're doing work, and you have someone else guarding the rifles, and you can get to work in the fields, laying out wire, doing whatever you need to do. So the plate carrier that I'm running is a Velocity Systems Scarab. I find that a plate carrier with extremely thin shoulder straps are going to be the most comfortable. What I like about them is that when you get the larger straps that come out here, they'll start cutting into your neck and cutting off your carotid artery and you start getting lightheaded. I can't stand that, and usually it just puts a lot more pressure when the shoulder pads are way oversized. So go ahead and look for something that looks like it has very minimalist shoulder pads, and look for something that may have extra movement in the shoulder pads so that it can move with your body. This Velocity system has a D-ring right here so that these shoulder pads can kind of move with you as necessary, as opposed to some of the shoulder pads that are out there now, and they're just kind of fixed in place. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you gotta get what feels comfortable for you. So of course I like to run just like I do on my first line belt, my known diseases and allergies, as well as my blood type, for obvious reasons. What I've done to my Velocity System Scarab is I've cut off the front kangaroo pouch, and then I've just put a section of Velcro so that I can run it completely slick and just add things as necessary. Anywhere that you can modify your gear and shave some weight off is a definite plus, and learning to sew when you're getting into things like this can only help you out. So, the plates that I'm running, I wouldn't necessarily suggest anyone else runs them because they are not NIJ certified. Not that that necessarily means that they don't work. I would like to do some testing on them pretty soon, but what these are polyethylene plates from Tactical Scorpion Gear. They are rated for 3+, which is not an NIJ rating, but it's like an enhanced level 3 armor. Now, what I would suggest is that people go out and spend money on some quality ceramic. Most ceramic is just as affordable as any of the other options at this point. But one thing that I would tell people to stay away from is steel plates. Steel plates have a lot of problems, not including the weight, but the weight is a major problem, and I wouldn't recommend them just based on that alone. But they also have the risk of spalling. And what that means is when you take a round tooth plate, it does, some of these plates have the rhino liner coating, and it's supposed to keep the shrapnel contained within it. but there is the chance that the shrapnel comes up into the bottom of your neck and down into your groin. And if you're buying something that's supposed to save your life, why go with something that's inferior and has that risk? These, both the ceramic and polyethylene, will keep the rounds contained within the material itself. So you won't have to worry about any shrapnel coming up or down or anywhere else. Most ceramic as well can be rated to level 4, which is going to stop things up to an armor piercing 30-06, I believe. So basically any threat that you're likely to encounter is going to be able to be stopped with the ceramic plates. So just with that alone, the ceramic plates, even if they do weigh quite a bit more than these polyethylenes, are worth the money. Now I do run the polyethylene plates mainly because of the weight. And the weight saving, having 1 pound plates is extremely beneficial. And ever since I put them in my carrier and put them on, I haven't been able to get them out of my carrier. But I would like to do some testing on them pretty soon. Maybe get a cheap side plate and shoot the hell out of it and see how it holds up. So I forgot to mention before with gas mask, but in addition to having just gas mask, you'd have a full NVC suit if you are working in contaminated areas and you're not able to evacuate and it's your job to go in because of that and clean it up or anything else. Of course, you'd have a full hazmat suit. So moving back into your plate carrier, it's extremely important to both know how to size your plate and how to wear your plate. So for me, I'm about 5'3", 110 pounds. I'm running small size plates. All my plates that I run are multi-curve. I believe that they're extremely, a lot more comfortable to wear for extended periods of time as opposed to just single curve or the flat plates. Go ahead and spend the extra money and get the multi-curve and you'll be that much happier while you have to wear them. So moving back into the fitment, what you want to ensure is that at the bottom of your collarbone or clavicle, I don't know what the hell it's called, but these two little bones right here, you want to make sure that the top of the plates rest just below them or just in line with them. The bottom of your plate should rest just slightly above your belly button. And it should mirror the back as it does the front, so that everything is straight from rear to forward. So with that, I think that's the end of this video, and if you enjoyed this one, be sure to check out the next one where I'm going to be going over my IFAK and the different components and what they're used for and when to use them. Thanks for watching.